Sup, you beautiful bastards? Hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing I want to talk about today is another huge fair use case that could change what people see as fair use. And I will say, there is part of me that is surprised that we are talking about another massive fair use case this close to the H3H3 decision. We, of course, talked about that landmark fair use decision late last week. At the same time, the other part of my brain goes, well, all situations aren't the same, and we've been calling this for a while as far as YouTubers suing YouTubers. As the industry matures, there's more money, lawyers get involved, and there's something to actually take. Well, yes, you can pay lawyers up front and put them on retainer. There are lawyers willing to work for a share of the winnings. And now that YouTubers are making enough that there are actual winnings to be taken, we're going to see more of that. But that note of all fair use cases are not made the same, I think that's something that we need to focus on. The H3H3 case and what we're about to talk about are far different. The situation we're talking about today involves YouTuber Akilah Hughes, otherwise known as Akilah Obviously, suing Carl Benjamin, otherwise known as Sargon of Akkad. I'll link to the full claim down below, but let me try and simplify. November 18th, 2016, Akilah puts out a video called We Thought She Would Win. And the video is a mishmash of her talking in front of her kitchen and then also footage from election night. She's on the ground floor where Hillary Clinton is supposed to give her victory speech. They're gonna have a party, and then you see the night go horribly wrong for Clinton and her supporters. The lawsuit claims that Carl takes that video, he essentially trims it. Akilah's video coming in at just under 10 minutes, while Carl's is coming in at around a minute and a half, but has essentially been described as just clips from Akilah's video played back to back. There's no commentary like you would see with an H3H3 video where they play a clip, they react, play a clip, then they react. Carl's video is then taken down by Akilah. It appears that Carl then started trying to fight against that, but then also uploaded the video to another site called Minds. There, the promotion of the video reads, Akilah Hughes has copyright striked my satire of her, so I am uploading it here. Original video, then providing a link. But if you try and see that video today, it's no longer there. Now, before we move any further, it's just really important that we understand the difference here, and I figure let's just use Jake Paul as an example. If I play a clip from Jake Paul's new video and provide some commentary like this.
Yes, I was a dumb 5th grade stupid bully. Still regret that shit, man, it ain't coolie.
Did he just rhyme bully and coolie? I just gotta make sure this isn't like 12-year-old slang that I'm not aware of. Nope, unless he was making a racist reference to unskilled Asian labor, that was just the laziest fucking rhyme ever. Couldn't be bothered to let the Y roll into whatever the next word would be. I regret that fully. Nothing, just lazy. Same garbage, different day. That would be an example of the H3H3 situation in defense, whereas this is like if I took 1 minute of Jake Paul's video, just uploaded it on the internet, but then changed the title. Instead of his title of Fuck Jake Paul official music video, in this situation I just re-upload it with the title Kid with Learning Disability Raps for the First Time. Not clickbait, emotional. That is the situation it looks like we're dealing with Sargon of Akkad, because reportedly Sargon's clip was originally titled SJW Levels of Awareness. So the question becomes, is that defensible when it comes to fair use? My opinion, as someone that is 100% not a lawyer, not that I really feel like I need to clarify that, but just so I did, my opinion is not really, although there may be one defense out there for him. It could be argued that Sargon's title of the video, which essentially serves as a caption on the viewing page here on YouTube, is transformative in nature. And an example people have been using for this to be a proper defense is an artist by the name of Richard Prince. Richard Prince is the artist that made massive news when he simply took people's Instagram photos with their captions and then simply included his comment at the bottom of the picture and then sold those as art. And at least one of these pieces reportedly sold for almost $100,000. But the note there is that while people are saying, well, Prince has gotten away with appropriation in the past, he's still dealing with this situation. Prince has won, and when he lost, he successfully appealed cases in the past, but this is a different situation. And it's one, like with the Sargon situation, that is being taken seriously. In July, U.S. District Judge Sidney Stein ruled that Prince's case would not be dismissed and said, the primary image in both works is the photograph itself. Prince has not materially altered the composition, presentation, scale, color palette, and media originally used by Graham. And that's another place that this situation could be seen as different. With Sargon's video, what he took out could be seen as a creative choice to go along with his change of title. But still, is that enough? I don't know, and at most, I think it's kind of a weak defense, but that is me personally. Also, the amount being pursued in this situation is very interesting. The payout here could end up being 6 figures, but the video that this is all coming from at this time, as I'm filming, has 28,000 views. The lawsuit claims the video is on its way to becoming one of her most popular videos. If we go to her videos now, they range between 6,000, 20,000 views. Then if you look at her most viewed videos, those range between 180,000, 1.57 million views. So to me, that specific claim seems pretty soft, although her lawyers will most likely argue because Sargon's video is not transformative in nature, his ripped, trimmed, and re-uploaded uploaded video undercut the potential of hers. At that point, you could argue not only ad revenue for that specific video, but gaining lifetime viewers who over the course of blah, 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 bring in whatever. But at this point, we're talking about the legal situation of, was this video a market substitute? And I'll let the lawyers argue that out. So that's where we are with this situation right now. It will be very interesting to see what happens, if Sargon will settle, if he will fight back. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. But I also want to pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts here? Do you think the video is defensible by a claim of fair use? Or no, do you think that Sargon was in the wrong here? I'd love to know your thoughts. And then let's talk about President Trump officially pardoning Joe Arpaio. This is a situation that's a big deal. It didn't get as much coverage because of the hurricane, which that is an understandable situation. That is a massive disaster that is worthy of people's attention, and we're going to touch on that, but we need to talk about this Arpaio situation. So for those that don't know, Joe Arpaio was an Arizona sheriff. In fact, he was known as the toughest sheriff in America by some. Here's a little overview recap. Arpaio was a sheriff for Maricopa County, Arizona. He was known for being a hardliner on immigration. He was highly criticized for his use of tent jails and racial profiling. Those tent jails were outdoor holding facilities for those awaiting trial with limited air conditioning in the Arizona desert heat. And one of his policies for fighting illegal immigration was to have his officers target Latinos for traffic stops to check if they were citizens. If the person pulled over was not a U.S. citizen, Arpaio would have them arrested and sent to federal immigration officials for deportation. But racial profiling is illegal in the United States and violates the Fourth Amendment. Essentially, you have a situation of, hey, that guy's brown, I'm gonna stop him. Well, yes, you might find someone that is in this country illegally and then you're gonna send them away. You're otherwise just going to harass someone because they have brown skin, right? You're not stopping someone because they're speeding or they have a broken taillight, they have a weapon or drugs viewable from the window. You're seeing a brown person and using that as a reason to stop them, right? And so not so shockingly, there was a racial profiling lawsuit. The case was Melendrez versus Arpaio, and District Court Judge G. Murray Snow put a permanent injunction against the use of racial profiling by Arpaio and his team in 2011, later reaffirming that decision in 2013. And so that means he was ordered to no longer use racial profiling to target Latinos in any manner. Without a suspected crime or traffic violation, there were to be no stops. But Arpaio made it very clear that he was not going to stop his policy and felt he was just enforcing immigration laws. He said in an interview after the decision that he's going to, quote, never give in to control by the federal government. If they don't like what I'm doing, get the laws changed in Washington. Then in 2016, he lost his election for sheriff. Then in July of this year, the 85-year-old was found guilty of contempt of court for disobeying the injunction. He was to be sentenced in October, but then President Trump jumped in. Initially, he teased it in that Arizona speech.
I'll make a prediction. I think he's going to be just fine, okay?
And later tweeting on the 25th, I am pleased to inform you that I have just granted a full pardon to 85-year-old American patriot Sheriff Joe Arpaio. He kept Arizona safe. And so the question became, why would Trump do this? Yes, Arpaio was one of the first people to back Trump when he said he was going to run. One, we're talking about a misdemeanor charge, 1 year in jail tops. Most pardons are for more serious felonies. But two, Arpaio had not even been sentenced yet for this misdemeanor. His penalty could have been as small as a fine. And three, while the president 100% is in his right to be able to do this, Arpaio never even petitioned to be pardoned. So if anything, it seemed like this was Trump making a statement because he could. Maybe using the situation to show how hard-lined he is in regards to illegal immigration. Also just maybe using this as a chance to flip the bird to President Obama again. Arpaio's representation in the past had said the Obama administration were conducting a witch hunt. And after Trump issued this pardon, Arpaio's lawyer said, the sheriff sees it as President Trump doing the right thing in the face of a great injustice, in connection with an innocent man who was the victim of a political witch hunt by the Obama administration. That said, as you'd expect, there was still a lot of backlash, even from Trump's own party. A spokesman for Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, issued this statement, saying the Speaker does not agree with this decision. Law enforcement officials have a special responsibility to respect the rights of everyone in the United States. We should not allow anyone to believe that the responsibility is diminished by this pardon. Senator John McCain tweeting, POTUS's pardon of Joe Arpaio, who illegally profiled Latinos, undermines his claim for the respect of rule of law. And outside of the party, the ACLU's deputy legal director said, with his pardon of Arpaio, Trump has chosen lawlessness over justice, division over unity, hurt over healing. Once again, the president has acted in support of illegal, failed immigration enforcement practices that target people of color and have been struck down by the courts. His pardon of Arpaio is a presidential endorsement of racism. And it's that note that I want to hit on with Donald Trump being called a racist. Do I see the president as a racist? No, I personally do not. I personally see the president as someone that is so anti-illegal immigration, so anti-terrorism, that he is willing to stomp on the rights afforded to U.S. citizens by our Constitution in pursuit to combat those things. And as often is the case, the people most affected by that are minorities. Once again, I am not in President Trump's head. He may well be. But when you call him a racist, all of a sudden the argument turns into one of intent. Why is he doing this rather than the core of what this situation is? The pardoning of a man who, in the pursuit of fighting illegal immigration, decided that probable cause could include someone's skin color. As Americans, we're supposed to have protections from unreasonable search and seizures. And what we're seeing here is the defense and pardon of a man who said, the fuck with that. I'm gonna get a result regardless of whose rights I trample on. But of course, that's just the way I see it. And then let's talk about Hurricane and then Tropical Storm Harvey. Harvey Harvey made landfall on Friday as a Category 4 hurricane and hit Texas near Corpus Christi. And along with the high-speed winds, Harvey brought an immense amount of rain. And we were talking about Houston and surrounding areas with catastrophic flooding. And the thing is, it's not over yet. Over the next few days, Harvey is forecast to head back into the Gulf of Mexico, and there they expected to pick up moisture before moving back over Galveston, Texas, and into Houston again. So that's looking like at least 4 more days of rain. Understand, just because this was a Cat 4 and is now just a tropical storm, this will be huge. So far, the storm has dumped more than 24 inches of rain over southern Texas. Some are reporting that we should expect that number to double to 50 inches in some areas. Parts of Harris County specifically have already seen over 30 inches of rain in the past 72 hours. The flood has swallowed up cars, houses, highways, and left people in dangerous situations. As of recording this video, 5 deaths have been reported by the National Weather Service to have been confirmed. The thing is, because this is a developing situation, there are rescues, there are searches, that number is very likely to rise. Also, the longer people are left without medications or treatment for injuries, that will have an impact. And as far as the search and rescue for these people, the Coast Guard said it has performed more than 2,000 multi-person rescues in the Houston-Galveston area. And that includes more than 200 rescues by air and more than 1,000 rescues by water. Officials are also predicting more than 30,000 people may be forced into temporary shelters and 450,000 people will seek some sort of disaster assistance. We have Texas Governor Greg Abbott saying on Sunday that more than 3,000 National and State Guard troops have been deployed to assist with relief efforts. An additional 1,000 National Guard members to be sent to Houston today. Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner warning that some 911 calls are going to go unanswered as operators are giving preference to life-threatening calls. The city of Houston even tweeting 911 services at capacity. If you can shelter in place, do so. A few inches in your home is not imminent danger. Only call if in imminent danger. A spokesman for the Joint Information Center in Houston saying the advice is if you don't have to be out, don't be out. Adding that most of the calls for help the center received had come from residents who tried to drive through the storm and got stuck in high water. Officials have also urged people to climb to their roofs to await shelter if water was rising in their homes, and local TV anchors reminded people to stay out of attics where they might be trapped. And so if you can kind of tell, it doesn't seem like there's enough people to help. And so this is why you have Harris County Judge Ed Emmett, the area's top emergency official, asking citizens with boats to help rescue people that are trapped. And people have answered the call, both people locally as well as people from outside driving their boats in. There's also been blame and disagreement around the idea of evacuation. Governor Abbott and other state officials have disagreed over the past few days with local Houston officials about whether the region should be evacuated. On Friday, Abbott urged coastal residents, including residents of Houston, that even if an evacuation order has not been issued by your local official, if you are in areas between Corpus Christi and Houston, you need to strongly consider evacuating. If you wait until you realize how serious this condition is, you likely will find that it's too late for you to be able to evacuate. But you had city officials that said it wasn't necessary, which left people confused as what to do. And Mayor Turner defended his decision not to order a mandatory evacuation, saying it would have been more dangerous for so many residents to try and travel through the heavy rains. This because Harvey was also affecting San Antonio and Austin, the logical locations for fleeing Houstonians, and saying, quote, "You cannot in the city of Houston put 2.3 million people on the road. That is dangerous. When you combine Houston and Harris County, you literally cannot put 6.5 million people on the road. If you think the situation right now is bad, you give an order to evacuate, you are creating a nightmare." And it appears that as of this morning, Governor Abbott is trying to just get past this and focus on the situation at hand. On CNN this morning, he said it's so difficult to look in hindsight to see would it have been better to evacuate or not evacuate, which is why we simply aren't focused on it right now. Instead, all of our attention is focused on saving lives. And on the note of all these different groups working together to save people, President Trump has praised many, tweeting wonderful coordination between federal, state, and local governments in the great state of Texas, teamwork, record-setting rainfall, great coordination between agencies at all levels of government, continuing rains and flash floods are being dealt with, thousands rescued. Many people are now saying this is the worst storm hurricane they have ever seen. Good news is that we have great talent on the ground. And President Trump has also signed a disaster proclamation for both Texas and Louisiana. And these moves are to allow for additional federal assistance to be directed towards the response efforts with help from FEMA. And truly, I mean, that money is going to be needed. This is going to be devastating for this area for years. But it's in these trying times that we see the good in people. Yes, we're seeing heroes from the National Guard and more saving people. Seeing this picture of Houston police officer Bob Gorlitz passed out from exhaustion. Exhaustion from having worked non-stop rescuing people, helping victims. Seeing neighbors that heard the call for help rescuing their other neighbors. Seeing that TV crew in their coverage noticing that there was a man trapped in his semi. And instead of just filming him, they waved down emergency services to rescue him. All of these are examples that most heroes don't wear capes. And so for those not there, you're not able to help in person, there of course are other ways to help. You can donate to the Red Cross either online or by texting Harvey to 90999. That text will donate $10. Also, if you don't have cash, you can help by giving part of yourself. There's an emergency need for blood donations for the victims of Harvey. I'll include a link down below so you can find your nearest location. Also, the crowdfunding website Global Giving is trying to raise $2 million to provide food, water, medicine in addition to long-term recovery assistance. Also, lesser-known groups like the Texas Diaper Bank is assisting people with small children. Airbnb is waiving all their service fees for those affected by this disaster. Also, if you're somewhat near the area, there's a link down below where you can offer your home for someone for free to stay there. So there's a lot of different ways a lot of different people can help. Even sometimes sharing some of that information, like the fact that you can find a place. Just finding a place to stay for displaced families, like that could be huge. So in whatever way you can help, that would be amazing. Personally, I'm donating to the Red Cross because I can, but there are a lot of other ways. It's in these most trying of times where it's so important we come together. And that's where I'm gonna end today's show. And remember, if you liked this video, you like what I try and do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss these daily videos. But actually, if you did miss the last Philip DeFranco show, you wanna catch up, click or tap right there to watch that. Or if you wanna see the newest behind the scenes vlog, click or tap right there to watch that. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.